What's up? Welcome to Tales Tomorrow. I am Morrow, your storyteller for today, and with me I have some more RPG horror stories, and I'm recording a little bit extra, and I'm honestly out of ideas to put into the beginning here, so tell me about your day, and I hope you had yourself a wonderful day. My brain don't think he's so good, and I still have reading comprehension, so we're gonna go ahead and get to the first story for today. DM almost makes my gay male character sleep with a woman. This story was a while ago, so my details are a little fuzzy, but I just realized now how weird and not okay it was. System was D&D 5e, and we had been playing for a good while before anything like this came up. TLDR, DM knew my character wasn't attracted to women and had a boyfriend, still tried to do a joke where he slept with a woman as a reward. Maybe there's something wrong with me, or maybe I'm just looking at this a little bit too hard, but to me, sleeping with somebody is like an intimate thing that's like just between you and somebody else. It's not a victory, it's not like a triumph, it's just an intimate moment you're sharing with somebody that is too special to even call a reward. To objectify something so intimately precious and stuff, it just feels weird to me. I don't know, maybe I'm just overthinking about it. Anyway, let's get to the story. This campaign was no stranger to the odd sexual joke, but it always been the offhand. A throwaway line about the player finding a brothel or whatnot. What's important is that nothing was ever actually explicitly shown, and none of the characters were ever involved in any not safe for work activities themselves. This all changed when the party was getting a reward from a town. The DM described each party member getting led individually to their houses of the NPCs who helped us out. All the NPCs were female for lore reasons. My memory is a little fuzzy as to what exactly he said, but the gist of it was that part of the reward was sex with the NPCs in a fade to black scene. This wasn't the only thing we were getting from the town, and I'm fairly certain the DM was playing it off as a joke since he wasn't showing anything. If you want to reward a party, here are 3 ways you can reward them. 1. Gold. 2. Magical items. 3. Non-sexual services to help the party in the adventures, such as like offering a ferry across the river, or giving them travel supplies, or pointing me in the location of the BBEG or whatever the next quest is, something like that. If the players didn't ask for banging to be some sort of a reward, then don't give it as a reward. It's like giving somebody a Toyota Camry when they didn't want a Toyota Camry, but now you still have it and you gotta pay all the taxes and registration for it. It's just a burden. You didn't ask for it, but now it's there, awkwardly sitting in your garage. Battery probably dead. The character I was playing at the moment is gay. I told this to the DM as it was relevant to his backstory that he had no sexual interest in women at all. At the time, my character had a boyfriend that he hadn't told the rest of the party about. Backstories related stuff meant that my boyfriend was only hinted at in the campaign at this point in time. It was unclear what my character's relationship with this person was, and I had planned for the reveal of his boyfriend to be a big reveal later in the campaign. The DM knew of this backstory, and all the time in the campaign this took place, my character was starting to chat with his boyfriend during sessions, so he was well aware that my character was gay. When the DM started joking that the party was going to have sex with a bunch of women, felt super uncomfortable since my character harbors no interest in doing that with the opposite sex, especially since he already had a devoted boyfriend. I felt trapped as I couldn't really say, hey, my character has a boyfriend, since it would spoil a major backstory twist. I'm pretty sure I brought that up in character that I wasn't attracted to women, as I had discussed that outside of game. I mean, honestly, the DM shouldn't be doing that in the first place. It's kinda weird, especially since you described your character's already in a relationship, and I'm assuming you didn't describe your character being promiscuous and stuff, then, I don't know, it just feels kind of out of nowhere. Or maybe the DM was leading it up as a quote-unquote joke or something, I don't know. I eventually just made a joke about how my character was enough of a himbo to accidentally not have sex and just do something else with the NPC. But I kinda hard to awkward wedge it in there so the DM knew that my character wasn't interested. Luckily, he didn't go through with it and the scene faded to black without my character having sex. The whole thing made me uncomfortable, but at the time I was sorta newish to D&D and I just kinda took what the DM said at face value. I didn't think to step up and say no, and I regret that. The DM was an authority figure to me, and I felt scared to challenge or disagree with them. Honestly, that mindset ended up causing me a lot more trouble down the road, and I eventually quit the campaign. But that's a story for another time. Your DM is an authority to an extent, but at the end of the day, the DM is literally just another player at the table. Yes, they decide what happens in the world, and yes, they decide what happens like as a final ruling of what's going on and stuff, and the final roll of the die and describing how the situation plays out. But at the end of the day, they're an authority that you can't disagree with. If you disagree with the DM, like another player, just treat him as just another player at the table and say, DM, no, that wouldn't work like that. I don't agree with that. I don't consent with that. And just straight up tell him no. It's important to let your fellow players and your DMs say no, especially when something like this is going on and you're not cool with it. The DM shouldn't be choosing what your character's doing for you and stuff and putting up this whole like sex trophy thing. It's just weird to me. I just don't understand it. Homophobic DM converts my character. I'm fairly new to D&D, went to a local gaming store to meet up with people to play with. After some mingling and socializing, there was a group that was welcoming new players, and I joined their Discord to do a session 0 for their campaign. My character is a human warrior, simple character that would be a good starter. His backstory, which I naturally sent to the DM, include he was gay, aristocrat that wanted to shed off the high society life and take up a life of adventure, and roughen it with odd jobs, bounties, whatever he could find. Seemed to me like a nice motivation to get together with a ragtag team of adventurers to go on an epic quest. But I also mentioned his sexuality wasn't really relevant and I was more interested in adventure and combat. I just made him gay because I can relate to him more. The DM agreed and said his backstory can also help with potential aristocratic connections if the group needed it. I didn't think of that when I made the character, so I was excited for the potential my character could add to the session. The first session went great. We did some quests that led us through a few small towns. The first red flags that I didn't notice at the time was the DM had barmaids at the tavern that would flirt with my character, and I would turn them down, focusing on getting to know my party members more. The encounters were seemingly harmless, but my character was the only one of the 4 of us. The DM decided to receive attention from the women. The only one? Damn, must be a looker or something. Clearly the DM is kinda leaning to the malicious side of things, and the title is sort of a giveaway, but let's see how it goes and see how it plays out. Fast forward to the big city. This is where things got really uncomfortable. We had a job from a nobleman who was being blackmailed by a brothel. The nobleman information we needed to progress the main story, and he would give it to us in addition to gold if we could get rid of the blackmail. So we go to the brothel where we speak with the head mistress. She tells us she needs the income from the blackmail because she can't afford protection fees from a local gang. We as a group decide to take out the gang leader for her so she will give us the blackmail. After we defeat the gang leader and free the brothel mistress from her protection fees, we try to get the blackmail from her. The DM decided that the mistress is adding a new condition. She wanted to spend the night with my character. Why your character of all characters? I mean, unless you're some sort of like a charismatic aristocrat that somebody found, they'll think like, ooh, if I get together with this person, then maybe I have some sort of influence. Maybe? You give the DM the benefit of the doubt. I know the title and stuff. I know I'm playing devil's advocate, but like I'm a tiefling and stuff, so maybe it's a normal thing for me. Clearly the DM is pushing some sort of boundaries, and I hope the player speaks up and stops her right then in the tracks or whatever. But it is an RPG horror story, so it's probably not gonna go ideal. The other players laughed and thought it was some silly twist that I was dealt. But I wasn't interested in my gay character being coerced into sex with the mistress. I wasn't interested in a romantic or sexual side quest in general, but the DM threw it my way anyway. I have my character turn her down and roll a persuasion check to get her to just honor the original agreement, and I succeed. The DM says, yeah, that works, but his tone of voice sounds like he didn't like my character doing that. The mistress gives us the blackmail and we return to the nobleman. We give his blackmail and assure him the mistress won't trouble him anymore. Before giving us the information we need, the nobleman invites us to dinner in celebration of the service we gave him. At dinner, the conversation brings up my character's aristocratic upbringing, and the nobleman decides he wants to marry off his daughter to my character because his family will benefit from my family's connection, and his united house will provide us with more resources for our quest. DM's try number 2. Is it gonna be a swing and a miss? Probably. I don't know why the DM is trying so hard. At this point, I'm getting irritated. This is the second time in a session that my character was getting pressured into getting intimately involved with a woman. I turned down the nobleman and he gets angry that I dishonored his house with a refusal. The DM is strongly hinting that I have to do it in order to keep on good terms with the noble house. The other players offer to marry the daughter instead. The DM insists that it has to be my character since the nobleman won't tolerate the refusal. I insist I'm not marrying her, and the nobleman kicks us out of his house and refuses to pay us for retrieving the blackmail or give us the information we needed to continue the story. That's when the session ends. The DM is visibly irritated at my discussions, saying he would now have to do a lot of rewriting and shuffling around in order for the next session to work. I asked the DM, you do remember my character is gay, right? To which he dismisses it with, there aren't any gay bars in the story, which I thought was weird, not what I was asking. I sort of laugh it off and call it a day. In the Discord, I asked the DM why was my character being forced to get with women constantly. He told me that my character didn't need to be gay in a fantasy situation, and he was trying to correct it, expecting me to just retcon my character's sexuality through the various women flirting, hoping I'd just go with it. Correcting someone's fantasy make-believe character. Dude, if it's fantasy, why not have a fantasy character that just doesn't want to bone women? Maybe it's a dude that likes dudes. It's a fantasy setting after all, DM. The characters don't need to be gay or straight or even be a human. They could be a tiefling, a half-orc, a loxodon, a minotaur. Characters can also be an anthropomorphic ooze as well. They don't have to be anything that you want them to be. It's their character. It's the player's character. Let the player decide what their character is. You're there to write the story, not to rewrite some character's sexuality. Maybe make it so that the brothel owner is a dude and he wants to bang another dude. Or the noble has like a son that's into other dudes. Or maybe how about this? Don't write in sexual coercion and sexual conquest into your story if players don't agree to this sort of thing. Seriously, it's not that difficult for real. I tell him that I'm not changing my character's sexuality just because he doesn't like it for his story, and that's when he told me I didn't need to come back to the session, because he wasn't adding some gay orgy for my character to get into. What is the DM talking about? The player said they don't care for their character's sexuality to be important in the first place. They just want to run around on an adventure and just be a aristocrat that just wants to go on fun rides and just slay goblins and shit. Regardless of your character's sexualities, you don't need to be adding orgies at all. Just have no orgies, have no sexual stuff, nothing. No sexual conquest, no orgies, no gay bars, no straight bars, none of that. Just have a regular campaign with mystery and drama and BBUGs and betrayal or whatever. I don't know. Just don't put in orgies. You don't have to put in an orgy for a campaign. That really upset me since I emphasized I only wanted to adventure and fight monsters. My character's sexuality wasn't crucial to this story, sure, but it was important that it stayed as it was for me. I never went back. Good. I hope you find a better party for yourself and a different DM, because this DM sucks, dude. The DM didn't want to add gay orgies. You don't have to add orgies at all. Just don't add them. How about this genius big brain move? Don't add orgies. There. Simple as that. Problem solved. There we go. I am Morrow, and I'll be here all week with brilliant giga-brain, giga-chat ideas for DMs. Idea number 1, don't add orgies. Wow, mind-blowing. And with that, that's gonna be all our stories for today. I want to thank you very much for watching, and thanks so much for being here. If you like what I do, consider subscribing to the channel and leaving a like. Also, if the RPG Horror Stories ever goes down, or if you want to submit your own personalized horror story, email is down in the description below. I'll see you again in more Tales Tomorrow. Bye-bye.